Today we're taking a look at the TCL Flip 2 and the Nokia 2760. Both of these devices are $20, but if you want to get them unlocked for your network, there is one called the 2780, which is, again, the ability to have it fully unlocked is $80. And after you use the TracFone version of the TCL Flip 2, it will cost you probably about $40 to unlock it after 2 months of service. And then you have to call them and then they give you the unlock code. And again, $60, $80 around that time for fully unlocked devices. But let's look at the operating system, which is what we're here for today. And these are running two different operating systems. So the Nokia 2760 and 2780 are running KaiOS. The TCL Flip 2 is running Android, and you have different customizations that you can make. But by default, the TCL is very basic, and the Nokia has an edge by default on a couple of things. Here we have the messaging experience. They both have group text messaging. They both have the ability to kind of change keyboards. So as you see right here, it has a T9 keyboard right here on the TCL, ABC, capitals, symbols, things of that nature. On the Nokia, you have the ability to do emojis and symbols, but I would say they're a little bit more limited in my estimation. But you do have a good range of symbols, so you wouldn't need, a lot of them, especially maybe for Wi-Fi passwords or things of that nature. But you do have the ability to have a couple of emojis here and there. There are no emojis by default on the TCL if that's super important to you. But they both do group text messages very easily without the need to do any workarounds. And I truly enjoy that portion. Besides that, let's go back. We have also default applications for music and gallery for both. They both have a camera. So here we have, this one's a 5 megapixel camera with a flash for the Nokia, and the TCL Flip 2 does have a camera and it's about 5 megapixels, but it does not have a full flash for it. So, pictures in the dark, you probably won't be taking them that often. It does have a customizable button right here, but essentially it's for speed dial if you want to call somebody. Something that is very interesting for both of these devices is that, again, KaiOS comes as smarter from default. So as you see right here, you have access to email, you do have access to the FM radio, calculator, calendar, file manager, Kai Weather, news, Snake, voice recorder, notes, to do, and a couple of extra things. It does also have a browser, but it's not super fast. And let's put it to the test so that we kind of get an idea of how this works. We're going to type the same thing. Let's see. We're going to try ESPN and see which one gets to the search result faster. And then they're both connected to the same Wi-Fi network, so we shouldn't have any issues when it comes to speed and things of that nature. So ESPN right there, and here ESPN. So they're both going to go to a search result right here. So we're going to see which one is a little bit faster. And as you see, the engine on the TCL Flip 2 is way faster because it's using a Chromium engine. This one's using a Firefox engine. And as you will see, it scrolls faster as well. As you see, the one here on KaiOS is struggling a little bit, especially for the browser. But if you don't need the browser, it's essentially basic enough that it can get you some simple information. And let's kind of like load the full page so that you can see how, like the difference in between them and how it all works. As you see, the engine on the TCL is loading a little bit slower this time, but right here, it probably will have a better capability. This one's still stuck trying to load all of the information, whereas the TCL may have taken a little bit longer and is still loading a couple of the news here and there, but you can already scroll throughout. So again, if you're looking for smart functionality, I would say modifying the TCL will be a better user experience, especially for the browser and a couple of extra smart features. And as always, I recommend Apps for Flip. I will write it right here, appsforflip.com. They can give you all of the information on their forums on how to modify this to install applications, which, by the way, I can show you that I have installed a couple of applications. I will not be going through them all This is a special code that allows me to see the apps. So right there, I have F-Droid, I have AntennaPod, which I've been using to open it up. I will say that using these applications is not as easy. And it's not, I will say it's a medium level of difficulty in order to install some of these applications. You have to follow a couple of instructions. They're pretty clear, but if you don't know tech or if you don't know how to use ADB or Android protocols, it may be a little bit harder. But as you see right here, I have installed AntennaPod, I have installed F-Droid, and you have some of those capabilities. As you see, I'm not able to navigate easily because you need a virtual mouse. And to install that, it may be a little bit more difficult than, again, medium difficulty. I will say you're still following instructions, but you kind of need to know what you're doing. All of the instructions are in App Store Flip. So again, if you want to do a full install of smart applications and get a virtual mouse, you can also use a Bluetooth mouse in order to navigate this. Then I'll recommend go to App Store Flip, ask them a couple questions, get familiar with how ADB works and things of that nature. As you see right here, these are my recent apps, and you have the ability right there. Launcher 3, I think I installed a different launcher little bit ago. Let me see if I can access it. No, already defaulted. You do have Google Maps by default here on the Nokia 2760 or 2780. I may be interchanging in between when I say it. And it's kind of super basic. It gives you the directions and it's by default. So you don't need to do all of the customization and things of that nature, but it is by default. You can install a certain map application here. Probably Google Maps may work and you may have to do extra customizations. But if you're comfortable with that, it's definitely doable. I would say if you're looking for an experience that is very basic, but that is useful from the get-go, I will say the 2780 does get the job done. The 2760 or 2780 at $20 or $80. But if you're looking to customize it and install applications that you're used to from your Android devices or other smart devices, then I think the TCL is definitely the one to go for. As you see right here, it doesn't allow me to access all of the other applications, but it does get the job done. Here, I just downloaded a QR code reader to kind of showcase that it's possible to do it. And of course, KaiOS is a little bit better in the sense that it does have the implementation already here because you can just go to the store and download the applications. If you want a more basic experience from the get-go without customizing anything, the TCL for $20, I think it's a better option. But if you want a little bit smart, so like QR codes, maybe maps, podcast app, which I will showcase here, which is PodLP right there, the best application on KaiOS for podcasting. Definitely the Nokia, it's a very good contender. And as you see, it doesn't lag. It doesn't have the issues from the past. In the past, we used to have KaiOS 2.5 and it used to be really laggy, very difficult to use. And now it's very responsive. And of course, with web things like loading the web, it's going to take a little bit, but the native applications are definitely just a better way to interact. Right here, we have a video player. So if you have videos that you want to play, here's telling me what the change logs are. You can kill the app. You can also download other applications. I have another map application right here for the Nokia 2780. And of course, it's getting a little bit jammed right here. I think I jammed the key. Oh, that's interesting. I think I may have jammed the key as I was doing some of this. Oh, okay, we're back to normal. Let's see. Let's go down all the way to the Maps application that we were using, probably when I was bumping it here. The TSL has a couple of extra tools. Like it does have a calendar. It's fully functional. I will say it's even better than Nokia 2780. It does have email, calculator, notes, file manager, recorder, and a clock. And that's about it. It's not trying to be super fancy, but it's trying to be a very basic device. But again, you can customize it if you want to. You can have some extra applications here and there. There's a couple of other things that I would like to showcase. And of course, you can always ask questions. I may not be showcasing the specific particular thing that you want to see in this video, but I'm trying to give you kind of like a little bit of an overview, but you can always ask questions in detail. The thing that may be a differentiator between the smart capabilities of these two devices is that if you customize the TCL Flip 2, you can get WhatsApp to work. Whereas if you try to get WhatsApp on the KaiOS 3.0 devices, that will not work. So if you need WhatsApp or you need other extra applications, I will say venture into customizing one of these, or buy maybe a Cat S22 Flip that already has the capability to do it in a more smart format. I'll showcase a couple of the kind of like functionality of the calendar, since that's something that a lot of people use. So here we have the calendar right there. You can add events right there. You can add the title, location, when it starts, when it ends, the time, and repeat. They're very similar. As you see, they're a little similar in their design, but they are different operating systems. So do not be fooled. I would say the capacity on getting events here on the Nokia 2780 is very small. I would say maybe even 3 to 4 weeks out, you'll be able to put some events, whereas this one is more kind of unlimited. I will say I haven't been able to tap it out. You do have the clock capabilities as well, which is for alarm and, things of that nature, a timer, and a stopwatch. You also have a world clock, a little bit of an extra here on the TCL, but again, very basic capabilities that will get the job done. You have calculators, kind of like apples to apples, and right there you can, go through it, or a little bit of how it works. You can also take notes, which, is essentially just taking notes. And you also, of course, you can have a recorder, and both of them have a recorder, and you can record them both. It's just, again, it's just the reality of what do you want to do with the device? What is what you're looking for to do with the device? If you want something more simple, from the get-go, no extra smart applications, then the TCL Flip 2. If you want some smart applications, but maybe not too smart, then I would say the Nokia 2780 or the 2760 is the contender for that. And if you want full access, very cheap, but you're willing to put the time and customize and learn, then the TCL Flip 2, of course, you have that ability to install the extra applications and do extra things with your phone. And as you see right there, we're going to go back to F-Droid. I can show you, you can navigate essentially and, download a couple things. As always, my favorite apps to download are definitely like maps and things of that nature, or AntennaPod, since I listen to podcasts a lot, but you can download a couple of other things right there. Organic Maps, you can go in there and install, and this is without the need of a virtual mouse, but at some point in time you will need that virtual mouse. I cannot tell why is it not installing. Let me go back. Let me see if now it's a little stuck, and that's what I'm saying about the virtual mouse, that it's just a better experience if you have the ability to have that. Okay, now it went through. There it is. Now we can install and starting downloading. I guess it was just stuck a little bit, but again, you have the ability to download something, download different apps from different stores, like the Aurora store, of course, you'll be able to use. I'll recommend a Bluetooth mouse effectively if you want to use some of that. It's very smart applications. There are other things, again, I may not be covering, so if you have questions about it, make sure to put it in there. But these are kind of like some of the basic functionalities of the phones. And of course, it does have hotspot. So right here, let's go to Wi-Fi, network connectivity. Internet sharing, it's a little grayed out in there, but it is available. And if it's not available on your device because your carrier is blocking it, I will put the code right here. Not the code, but there's a website that you can access. It's from a developer called Cyan 2048, I believe. So I'll put the link in here so you can access your hotspot even if they're blocking it. So here we have tethering and Bluetooth tethering and USB tethering and mobile hotspot. This one is probably going to just be a hotspot on the Nokia 2760, 2780. But you can access it on any KaiOS device with that specific website, the Cyan 2048. Again, if you have any questions about this device or any of the other devices that I have reviewed, make sure to put it a comment in the comments, and I'll be interacting with you guys. I'll be answering questions. As always, trying to be as helpful as I can. Thank you for using the links for the different things in the Dome Phone Finder. If you're buying a phone, that is greatly appreciated, as it sometimes gives me a commission depending on the phone that you're buying. But as always, all of these resources are for free, and I hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.